Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list are the 10 notes from different countries that I own. Yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit of world currency, a little bit of foreign currency. I don't have very much, but whenever I see something interesting, I'm not really worried about what country it's from. I'm always fascinated by it. And I started looking through my stuff, and it turns out that I actually do have stuff from at least 10 different countries. So, since I hit the magic number of 10, I figured let's get to it. All right, I'm going to start with an honorable mention. The reason this is an honorable mention is there is debate as to whether or not this is a real country. What is it? Well, that would be the Confederate States of America. The Confederate States of America produced its own currency, CSAs. Here's my $500 CSA. The Confederate States weren't actually recognized as a country by anyone. So even though they printed their own money, it's not that it was actually a real country. They were fighting to become a real country, and, well, they lost. So even though they've got their own currency, yeah, I can't really call it foreign currency because, well, it's domestic, it's not foreign, and it's not really a country and never really was. So that is my honorable mention, the Confederate States of America. All right, number 10 on the list. My neighbor was out talking with my dad, and I went over there, and he found out that I collect old money. And after all kinds of discussions and stuff, obviously we know each other now. But he wanted me to have something from where he was from. And what he did is he gave me this $1 from Guatemala. And I thought that was cool. I don't have anything from Guatemala. One Banco de Guatemala, Central America. So Central America, use Guatemala. And let's see, is it a stamp on there? Yeah. 1990 is the stamp. So it's a piece of currency I would have never bought on my own, yet has a whole lot of meaning because it was gifted to me by my neighbor simply because he learned that I do what I do online. Here's the nope, that's not it there. So yeah, that's pretty cool when people give you stuff like this just to be a part of what you do, and that's why he gave it to me. So I thought it was cool, and that's why it's on my list. Number 10, a Guatemalan $1 bill. Number 9. Here's a note that I wasn't sure if I was even able to own. This is from North Korea. This is a $100 note from North Korea, and you can see right there, 1992 is when this one was made. A little bit before the current ruler of North Korea. I want to say that that's his grandfather that's pictured on this particular note. There's the other side of it there. It's a cool looking note. It's just from a really wild place. But yeah, $100 note from North Korea. Something you don't get to see every day. This was also a gift. My brother found this and gave it to me. I did not go to North Korea. I'm not trying to spend it. I'm not trying to sell it. I just have it as part of my collection. That is number 9 on the list. Number 8. I got this note because of its size. This thing is big. It's about the size of a half a sheet of paper. In comparison, here's a $1 bill. Just so you have an idea of size. It's much taller, and it's about as long as a horse blanket, but it's even taller than a horse blanket is. Anyway, this is from Hong Kong, and if we look here, you can see Hong Kong, 1st of January, 1934. And I'm looking at these signatures, and they almost look real, just by the way that they fade. I mean, you see how dark the swirl is, and then you go here and it gets so light like that. It really does almost look like those are hand signed. This one doesn't look hand signed, but that one does. So, well, I'm assuming that if one is hand signed, if one isn't, neither is the other, but it's hard to tell. Does it go through the paper? Yeah, you can see the ink coming through. So yeah, that is hand signed, I think. That's interesting. Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation. I believe there's yeah, you can see the watermark right there. That's pretty cool. And to show, yeah, once again, the watermark and the denomination 10, that is really neat. And if I can do it, there we go. Now you can see just from the sunlight, this is blank until you let the sunlight through and the watermark shows. So that's pretty cool. That is 10-9. Number 8, a $10 note from the Bank of Hong Kong, 1934. Number 7, I have stuff from the Cook Islands. These are the two $3 bills that I got from the Cook Islands. A very interesting and unique story as to why this woman is riding on a shark. I don't know what's cooler, which one's cooler. This is the newer one. This one is actually paper. This one is plastic. You can see it has the clear window here. So this is the old version of the note. This is the new version of the note from the Cook Islands, and you can see the front pictures here. What is this? Better this way. And if we flip it over on the back, there's the original and then the upgraded version. So they still have the statue. They still have the statue here. They still have the boat, and they've got the boat there. So yeah, they just fully upgraded the note, just improved the details a little bit better. Just a really interesting note. I mean, imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling this out to spend. Yeah. Anyway, that is number 7. 10, 9, 8, number 7 on the list. Number 6, I've got some World War II currency that is from the good guys. This is from the Philippines. Philippines 1 peso note. Now, the Philippines were invaded by Japan, and during World War II, Japan stole all kinds of stuff, dug all kinds of tunnels, and took over the island. And they supposedly hid their treasures in there, and I have a video coming up supposedly with one of those treasures, but yeah, you'll get to that when you see it. Anyway, when we took back the Philippines from Japan, the Philippines came out with their own money once again. They had their currency on the island, but after Japan invaded, Japan brought their own currency. And then once we retook it, the Philippines had their own currency brought back with the Victory Series, number 66 stamped on the back. And if you look at the back here, they also stamped Victory on this side. So the Victory Series from the Philippines, I have a couple different denominations of these. I just grabbed this one here so I would have something to show in the video for you guys. That one is number 6, 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6, Philippines Victory Series. Number 5. This goes back a little ways. This is from the Bank of England. The Bank of England, it's an actual £1 note. So this predates the euro. Back when every single country in Europe had its own currency. And I can only imagine how difficult it would have been to travel. I guess that would be like if every one of the United States had its own separate currency. I guess that would be the best way to think about it. Anyway, Bank of England, £1 note, London, for the government and COMP of the Bank of England, chief cashier. There's the serial numbers there. I don't think this one actually even had a date on it, if I remember right. £1 Bank of England, £1 Bank of England. No, it doesn't even list any kind of a date on this note. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £1. But yeah, I am not seeing a date on here. I want to say this was from the 70s. I can verify it in one of my books just by matching the pictures. But yeah, Bank of England predates the euro. So that was a cool addition. That's number 5. Number 4. One of the cooler notes that got my attention, I know nothing about. I don't think I've ever even shown this particular one. This is from Vietnam. And this is a 500 dong note. 500 dong. Nan Tram dong. 500 dong. That's what that is. Take a look at the back of this one here. Just a really cool note. This side, you get these colors in here like that. That's just amazing. But that tiger, I mean, that is just impressive. To have something like that on your currency and to be colored and drawn that well, and to not be a picture, it is a drawing. I mean, that's just, not only is it a drawing, but then they had to print it on every single note, every single time, millions of times over and over and over again. And so for it to still look that good, that's pretty amazing. Let me put my hand behind there because there's a little bit of light coming through. That just jumps at you. That is such a cool note. I'm not even going to attempt to read anything that it says on there, but I'm impressed by the tiger. Anyway, that one is number 4. The this is from Vietnam, the 500 dong. So yes, I had to find an excuse to get my dong on camera. Number 3. Number 3 is what everybody says is the largest denomination note ever to exist. It is the Zimbabwe $100 trillion note. Yes, this is real, okay? The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they went through hyperinflation, and this is a $100 trillion note. That's a 1 with, I want to say, 13 zeros afterwards. Just an amazing, amazing thing that this had to have been brought into existence. The thing is, if I remember correctly, they had already knocked like 3 zeros off of their system to begin with, because hyperinflation had set in so much. So there is a lot of zeros here. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 zeros is what's counted here. What's cool is the way that they did this section here is when you hold it up to the light, all the zeros show through, because this side of the note has half of the zeros, 1/4 on each side, the top right and the bottom left, and the other side has the opposite. So like I said, when you hold it up to the light, you can see through the page and all of those zeros fill out. Really cool security measure there. It's got a hologram in there, and I don't think there's anything else on there. But yeah, that is number 3 on the list. What everybody will say is the largest denomination. They will be wrong, and I will show you. Number 2 on the list. This is from Canada. This particular note is a $50 Canadian note from, you can see 1975 right there. Yeah, I've got quite a few Canadian notes, and I didn't know which I was going to bring out, if I was going to bring out the Devil's Head or one of the current ones. But the more I thought about it, this is my favorite note, the $50 Canadian note. The $50 denomination in general is a tough denomination. It's a great denomination to collect because it's usually short printed. Most people don't get 50s here in America or in Canada. If you have a $100 bill and you break it, you're usually going to get 20s. So you almost have to ask for a 50. Because yeah, if you have 100 and you break it and they give you 2 50s, well, you still got to break the 50s. So 50s just in general are not very common. That's what makes them a good denomination to collect. Any denomination that has a reason to be short printed, well, if it's short printed, it's harder to get. That's what you should save. I did not get this because it was a 50. I got this particular one specifically because of the back. I saw that and I was blown away by the artwork on the back. Really, really cool. I've heard that there were all kinds of nicknames for this formation. We're not going to get into that. I'm a Polak, so I can imagine all kinds of other things that people could say. But anyway, that's the back of the Canadian $50 bill from 1975. Very, very cool note, and I had to get it when I saw that this existed. That is number 2. And number 1 for this week, I have notes from Hungary. And the reason I have notes from Hungary is, let me show you what we got here. This is what I thought, was the most expensive, or biggest denomination. Everybody said the $100 trillion was the biggest denomination, and I found this. Okay, the B represents billion, okay? So this is 10 million billions. 10 million billions. Which means, how many zeros are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 zeros there. And since you're talking about 10 million billions, there's 9 zeros in billions. So if there are 7 here, add 9 more zeros. That gives us 16 digits, a 1 with 16 zeros behind it. That is how big of a denomination this particular note is. Show the other side over here. So you can see this is 10 million, B is billion, pengo. And this was from right around World War II when they went through major hyperinflation. So 10 million billion, you can write all that stuff out. Here's the date, 1946. And this is still not the largest denomination, because once I got this one, then I learned about this one, and this is the actual largest denomination note ever printed. And based on what it is here, you can see it is 100 million billion. 100 million billion. So you're looking at this note and you're seeing 3, 6, 7, 8 zeros, and then add the 9 zeros for the billion. So what do we got now? 9 and 8, 17 zeros. I don't even want to try to figure out what that is without writing it down and putting in all the commas, but you can see Budapest, Hungary, 1946, and there is the back of this one. It got the EPQ, graded 63, really, really cool note. And like I said, the largest denomination ever printed anywhere. Had to be added to my list, so I have Hungary as well. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you this week. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.